If you're getting interviews but not getting the offer, you're not unlucky. You're not just nervous. You're losing the interview, but you don't even know where. Let's fix that. Hi, I'm Ariana, aka the Career Queen, and I help people stop playing with their careers and start moving strategically. This is episode 3 of my Fix Your Career in 15 Minutes series. So let's get started. Most people think that they fail at interviews because they're just nervous or they're unsure of what to prepare for. But honestly, you're just there answering questions and you're not telling them the story. So my first tip is going to be tell the story. No one knows your experience more than you do. And the last thing that you should do is go into an interview and downplay exactly what happened in the story that you're going to tell them. And if you're not telling them a story at all, let's change that. You are asked a question such as, tell me about yourself or tell me about a time, right? These are your opportunities to tell them your story. Let your personality shine through. Let your priorities, your values, all of the things that mean a lot to you that could help you in the workplace, showcase to them, because otherwise they're hiring you. One way that you can ensure that you tell a story when you are asked a question is by using structure. So think the STAR method, but better. And if you don't know what the STAR method is, I'll give it to you really quick. The STAR method is situation, task, action, result. What that means is that you tell them exactly what you are doing, right? What is the situation? The next thing you're going to tell them is the task. What did you have to do, right, in this situation? Actions that were taken, right, as a result of the task, right? What was the task at hand? What were the actions that were taken? And then what was the result? These are all super important things that you need to encompass in your answer. However, I want you to think better. Think about how you can tell this in a story while still encompassing the STAR inside of it, right? So that's going to help you tell a story, remain structured, and honestly give them exactly what they're looking for. The next tip, stop rambling. What this means is that a lot of people, when they get into interviews, they are so nervous that they end up talking and talking and talking and talking. And honestly, that will hurt you more than it'll hurt them. One, they're going to tune out like really fast. Two, you're going to feel that you're rambling and it's going to just take your confidence all the way down. And we don't want that to happen. So what you have to do is you have to think about how long should I be talking to make sure that I don't lose their attention. The general rule of thumb is about 60 to 90 seconds, right? When they ask you to tell them about a time or describe a time, it may take up to that 90 seconds. But if they're asking about describing like your skill set, your strengths and weaknesses, that should really only take you about a good 60 seconds to answer, right? Because you're going to tell them what that weakness or skill set is, and then you're going to provide one small example, to kind of support what you're saying. So you have to use your judgment when you are answering their questions, and just know the general rule of thumb is about 60 to 90 seconds. Remember, clarity beats length. There's no such thing as having a longer answer being a better answer. So keep in mind that if you can deliver it to them in a concise but descriptive manner, then you're always going to get a checkpoint in their book. So what does this all really look like? So I have an example prepared for you and I'm going to read it aloud. So when you are asked about problem solving or something that you're good at, or just describing times where, right, fill in the blanks for all of these, you don't want to misinterpret their question. You don't want to say things like, oh, well, I'm good at problem solving. Yeah, well, that wasn't their question. You want to make sure that you actually deliver the answer in a structured manner and you're concise, meaning 60 to 90 seconds. So instead, what you can say is, in my previous role, we were expecting delays in project delivery. That's the situation. I was responsible for identifying the issue. That's the task. I analyzed our workflow and noticed a bottleneck in communication, so I implemented a shared tracking system. That's the action. As a result, we reduced delays by 30% and improved team efficiency. Flawless. And that didn't even take me 60 seconds to say. So what I really want you to think about is, what am I saying that makes sense to them? Because it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out thing. They need to be able to hear that you know exactly what you're talking about, you know how to articulate it, and that is exactly what they need. So keep in mind that your answer, the length of your answer is not going to win them over. In fact, it might turn them all the way off. All right, so last but certainly not least, the final tip of this video is going to be sell your impact and control the narrative. What does that mean? It is honestly more simpler than you think. remember that when you are talking to someone regarding an opportunity, it is your job to demonstrate value, and you have to sell your impact. You can't sell your ability. You can't sell the skill. You have to sell the impact that those skills have, right? So that means we need to go beyond that surface layer, and we need to dig deeper in terms of what are we actually telling them that we have done or can do versus what we possess in terms of ability and capability, or just, all of these thoughts and theories. We need to be able to really tell them, hey, if I do this for you, this would be the result, right? So to really kind of like unpack that, I want you to think about, and I have an example here, I want you to think about when you are talking about what they want you to kind of show them, you have to be able to control that narrative, right? If they're asking you a specific question and you're providing this answer, the direction you go with that answer will determine what they perceive. So for example, at the end of an answer, after you say something, what you can then say is, and that's something I'm excited to bring into this role, especially since I saw you're focused on, and then you would name a specific goal from the job description. So if we take the example that I gave just a few moments ago, where we talked about the STAR method, right? Answering with that star. One of the things we mentioned in there was the result being a 30% reduction in delays and improved team efficiency. And so when you control the narrative, you can then say, and this is something that I'm looking forward to doing on your team to help with XYZ goal, right? So when we think about what we're saying in interviews, is really not taboo, right? We have to let our guard down, because at the end of the day, they are assessing you and you are assessing them. And that goes without saying. You should have questions prepared for them too, because I'm a huge advocate for people asking questions at the end of an interview. And quite frankly, if you don't ask questions at the end of an interview, were you even interested? So that's how I think. A lot of recruiters do believe that as well, especially hiring managers, especially for technical roles, because at the end of the day, we know that there are things you do not know about the job. And if you don't care enough to ask, then we don't care enough to hire you. It just is what it is, right? So coming from a career services director, please prepare questions for the end of an interview, at least 2 to 3 on the lower side. If it's more of an executive level C-suite role, you need to be asking more questions, right? You need to understand exactly what the dynamics are of where you're going into, the current goals, prior shortfalls or shortcomings. All of these things matter. So you do have to make sure that you are ready, right? You're on your P's and Q's. So without further ado, that's it, guys. So I really do hope that this video has helped you out, and I'm gonna do a favor for you. I'm actually going to drop the link to my interview guide below. So if you want that, please make sure you click the link in the description to get that. And if you have been getting interviews but you're not getting the offer, I need you to seriously sit down, practice your interviewing skills. If you want help with that, I do have bookings available, and we can definitely get together and do a strategic mock interview session. So if that's something you're interested in, the link below is, or the link is also below for that too. And if you are just feeling it, you're here, you're ready to make that change, comment, I'm ready, because I definitely don't want to keep hearing people feel like they're not getting job offers, but they're getting all these interviews. I want you to start noticing where you might get tripped up in your interviews. Start noticing where you might be underselling your impact. Start noticing where you might not be telling them what they need to hear. The moment you start doing that, I promise you'll see better results. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. This is episode 3 in the series. So if you've already missed the first 2 episodes and you're like, wait, I'm not even getting interviews, I need you to go back. We've already talked about resumes and we talked about job search. Now we're on interviews, and we're going to have one more video left in this series. So make sure you stay tuned to next week to hear what that's about. And I really hope that you guys come back. I hope that you are finding this information insightful and that you're able to apply it in your career. So hype this video if you did, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.